Good evening, folks. You can see once again, I have my cone-shaped hat upon my head. And I will have you know this thing is perfect for farming, and it's perfect for firearm making. Not this kind of firearm, no. This kind. First, we'll find the correct sized piece of wood. This one looks good in my sight and in my smell. Looking like a gun already, does it not? Now we can take the skin off of it, and hopefully by it, I don't mean my finger. What have we here? Candle's doing more work than I am, so it would appear. Let's give them some rest. Work has been done, disaster avoided, and I think it's safe to say we've earned a day's rest. You'll notice I have a rasp in my throat this morning. Time to rasp, lads. Now cometh the time in which we must head down to the file cabinet. Similarities begin to develop. Now we must craft the muzzle, and we must craft it well so that the bullet will feel a tinge of homesickness as it exits its abode and prepares to enter another, the flesh of my enemies. Now, just like there's a barrel up there, let's put a barrel on here. Now, this is going to take a bit of time with this little knife, so I suggest you sit back and watch. Wait a second, I suggest that I take out the heavy artillery. Made a fool of you, did I not? Now I need sand, and I need paper, and putting them together, I can use them to my advantage. Now that this is smooth as silken cloth, we don't need to use it anymore. Now we need to begin working upon making the inner workings work. I must devise an engineering strategy to force a large hammer downward at the pull of a trigger. Do not be too discouraged if your plans turn out to be utter failures at first. Simply try again with renewed vigor. Alright, I've written down the basics of what needs to be done. Now it's time to do what needs to be done. And in order to do that, you need to head down to the secret workshop. Alright, now that we've survived entry, let's get to work. Starting with a solid metal disc, we'll cut out the shape of our base plate. Now this is a flimsy material, so we'll upgrade durability to cauldron lid, and then cut like the cookie from the dough. Already hath been done. Now it's time to get those forges blazing. Now we watch it erupt like the Mount Fuji. The furnace appears to be smoldering enough to stick this iron bar into its depths. Now we must pound it like the gunsmiths of ancient Japan. Now to craft another piece, we'll begin by melting some aluminum. Now we'll pour the molten material into a mold. Then taking the resulting cylinder, we'll grind it down for several years. Now that that's been completed, we can begin work on the hammer. Let's put a hole in this little creature right here. Now it took way too long, but we finally have all the pieces completed. Now I'm going to try to fit them together. And if they don't fit together, they'll fit together in a trash can in a million pieces. Alright, so I've had to make a slight detour to make sure that the pin will allow these two to spin at the same time. Now we must poke another hole in this creature, this time in his head. And that having been accomplished, I've bent this piece into a shape distorted enough to lay the hammer upon. And like all these pieces carved from the cauldron lid, it will have holes drilled through it. Now these pieces could use a good shining. Now we shall carve out an area within the rifle itself. Drilling has been successful and hopefully the staining shall be as well. that has been covered with stain. Now let's wait for the stickiness to wear off. Okay, now we must turn this wooden barrel into a glimmering cast iron pipe. How shall we do that? Shall we forge it in the furnace? No, we're done with that. We'll instead use a cheap and easy way. Yes, it may be counterfeit. It's called metallic paint. However, we shall begin with a coat of black. Now we shall add some black and some silver to get the perfect shade. Now we shall peel off the tape and see what they look like underneath. Okay, my friends, we're very close to being done. Now all we have to do is put all the pieces together, then we will have the masterpiece. Now we can hammer this sight into the top of the muzzle. And what a beautiful sight it is, too. Now we'll use these bent pieces of aluminum as a clasp on the barrel to give it a more realistic effect. Now that is finished, we'll do a bit of honest thievery on the clothesline, and then light the needle through the thread. Now the weapon, she is completed. And if you also have something wrong up here and are desirous to waste hundreds of your hours upon one thing, I suggest you follow the instructions in the video and build this. Now that being said, I think we can head to the epic viewing, and then I will see you at the testing grounds. So here we are, the birthplace of this weapon, Tanegashima Island. I hear the wild boar around here are as abundant as the lice upon my head. So, with any luck, by the end of today, we'll have a piece of ham sliding down my throat. Before I begin the hunt, I'd like to try out a bit of target practice. Sorry about that, forgot to add the computer animation. Let's try that again. to deal with a boar, I should say. Well, we've been searching for quite some time. We haven't had much in the way of any. Come to Papa, future pork dumplings.